Friends and viewer, good day. Uh, Yesterday we had discussed about a novel of Ernest Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea. And today we are going to discuss about one of his another novel, A Farewell to Arms, written by Ernest Hemingway. So the Farewell to Arm is about the war of situation during the First World War. So during the First World War, the story of this novel starts like Lieutenant Frederick Henry is a young American ambulance driver serving in the Italian army during the World War One. At the beginning of the novel, the war is winding down with the onset of winter, and Henry arranged to tour Italy. The following spring, upon his return to the front, Henry meets Catherine Berkeley, an English nurse's AD at the nearby British hospital, and the love interest of his friend Rinaldi. Rinaldi, however, quickly fades from the picture as Catherine and Henry becomes involved in an elaborate game of seduction. Grieving the recent death of her fiancé, Catherine longs for love so deeply that she will settle for the illusion of it. Her passion, even though pretended, weaken a desire for emotional interaction in Henry, whom the war has left coolly detached and numb. When Henry is wounded on the battlefield, he is brought to a hospital in Milan to recover. Several doctors recommended that he stay in bed for 6 months and then undergo a necessary operation on his knee. Unable to accept such a long period of recovery, Henry finds a bold, garrulous surgeon named Dr. Valentini, who agrees to operate immediately. Henry learns happily that Catherine has been transferred to Milan and begins his recuperation under her care. During the following months, his relationship with Catherine intensifies, no longer simply a game in which they exchange empty promises and playful kisses. Their love becomes powerful and real as the lines between scripted and genuine emotions begin to blur. Henry and Catherine becomes tangled in their love for each other. Once Henry's damaged leg has healed, the army grant him 3 weeks convalescence leave, after which he is scheduled to return to the front. He tries to plan a trip with Catherine, who reveals to him that she is pregnant. The following day, Henry is diagnosed with jaundice, and Miss Von Kempen, the superintendent of the hospital, accuses him of bringing the disease on himself through excessive drinking. Believing Henry's illness to be an attempt to avoid his duty as a serviceman, Miss Von Kempen has Henry's leave revoked and he's sent to the front once the jaundice has cleared. As they part, Catherine and Henry pledge their mutual devotion. Henry travels to the front where Italian forces are losing ground and manpower daily. Soon after Henry's arrival, a bombardment begins. When word comes that German troops are breaking through the Italian lines, the Allied forces prepare to retreat. Henry leads his team of ambulance drivers into the great column of evacuating troops. The men pick up 2 engineering surgeons and the 2 frightened young girls on their way. Henry and his driver then decide to leave the column and take secondary routes, when they assume will be faster. When one of their vehicle bogs down in the mud, Henry ordered the 2 engineers to help in the effort to free the vehicle. When they refuse, he shoots one of them. The driver continue on the other trucks until they get stuck again. They send off the young girls and continue on foot toward Udine. As they march, one of the driver is shot dead by easily frightened rear guard of the Italian army. Another driver marches off to surrender himself. When Henry and the remaining driver seek refuge at a farmhouse, when they rejoin the retreat the following day, chaos has broken out. Soldier angered by the Italian defeat pull commanding officer from the melee and execute them on the site. The battle police seizes Henry, who at the crucial moment breaks away and dives into the river. After swimming a safe distance downstream, Henry boards a train bound for Milan. He hides beneath a tarp that covers stockpiled artillery, thinking that his obligation to the war effort are over and dreaming of his return to Catherine. Henry reunites with Catherine in the town of Stresa. From there, the two escape to safety in Switzerland. Rowing all night in a tiny borrowed boat, they settle happily in a lonely alpine town called Montreal and agree to put the war behind them forever, a farewell to arms. Although Henry is sometimes plagued by guilt for abandoning the men on the front, the two succeed in living a beautiful, peaceful life. When spring arrives, the couple moves to Lausanne so that they can be closer to the hospital. Early one morning, Catherine goes into the labor. The delivery is exceptionally painful and complicated. Catherine delivers a stillborn baby boy and later that night dies of a hemorrhage. Henry stays at her side until she is gone. He attempts to say goodbye but cannot. He walks back to his hotel in the rain. So this is the story of A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway, the famous writer. So let me see what the theme here we get from this story. The grim reality of war. As the title of novel makes clear, A Farewell to Arms is the title which clearly suggests that its primary concern is war, namely the process of which Patrick Henry removes himself from it and leaves it behind. The few characters in the novel who actually supported the effort, Ettore Moriti and Guino, come across a dull brigade and naive youth. Respectively, the majority of characters remain ambivalent about the war, resentful of the terrible destruction it causes, doubtful of the glory it supposedly brings. The novel offers masterful description of the conflict, senseless brutality and violent chaos. The scene of the Italian army retreat remained one of the most profound evocation of war in American literature. As the net column of man begins to crumble, so too the soldier nerves, minds, and capacity for rational thought and moral judgment. Henry's shooting of the engineer for refusing to help free the car from the mud shocks the reader for two reasons. First, the violent outburst seems at odds with Henry's coolly detached character. Secondly, the incident occurs in a setting that robs it of its moral import. The complexity of Henry's fellow soldier legitimized the killing. The murder of engineer seemed justifiable. Nevertheless, the novel cannot be said to condemn the war. A Farewell to Arms is hardly the work of a pacifist. Just as innocent engineer death is an inevitability of war, so is war the inevitable outcome of a cruel, senseless world. Hemingway suggests that war is nothing more than the dark, murderous extension of a world that refused to acknowledge, protect, or preserve true love. Relationship between love and pain. Against the background of the war, Hemingway offers a deep, mournful meditation on nature of love. No sooner does Catherine announce to Henry that she is in mourning for her dead fiancé, she begins a game meant to seduce Henry. Her reasons for doing so are clear. She wants to distance herself from the pain of her loss. Likewise, Henry intends to get as far away from talk of the war as possible. In each other, Henry and Catherine find temporary solace from things that plague them. The couple's feeling for each other quickly pass from an amusement that distract them to the very fuel that sustain them. Emptiness of abstract ideals such as honor, enabling him to flee the war. These are the theme these are the theme of this novel. The tragedy of the novel is rest in the fact that their love, even when genuine, can never be more than temporary in this world. So, ladies and gentlemen, A Farewell to Arm, one of the beautiful novel written on the background of First World War and the author's pacifist inclination towards peace and towards love is very eminent in this novel. I think we can find a very interesting events in this novel. Love, hatred, war, brutality, love also, an inclination towards love. Thank you very much.